You are listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Claret and Blue podcast, the second episode of the week and the one of many for our Wembley content. We're joined by Matt Kendrick on my left, finally been bothered to come into work.
A bit harsh, isn't it? It's a bit harsh. You know what? Do you actually want to know what I've been doing in the last week?
Go on then.
I've been watching. This is how stressed I get at work. I know people think, of course, you get stressed, God, you're right about football. For light relief, last week I watched a documentary on the Holocaust. I watched
just a bit of light relief.
I watched something about Amazon listening to us through our Alexa devices.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
What else did I watch? I watched Leaving Neverland.
Busy, are you?
So, do you know what I mean? It's kind of, I'm trying to, listen.
What you just said there is out of work, I just watch TV. I mean, that's not...
No, I didn't. I'm trying to expand my mind. I wasn't just watching Meet the Goldbergs or whatever, or, do you know what I mean? I was trying to learn.
Right, fair. Did you learn much?
People say I'm underprepared. Listen, I could tell you anything that you need to know about Holocaust denial now.
Do you know much about Villa for the podcast?
Villa?
Yeah. No.
I've got some.
That's why he's here.
We've got some mental memory prompts, haven't we? That we're going to go through. Anyway, do you want to introduce our guest?
You're the one rambling. Our guest today, Mr. Adam Wright. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Dan.
So obviously we know each other from years gone by through the Villa View, but for people that don't know, introduce yourself and who you are, please.
Yes, my name's Adam Wright. I'm a Aston Villa supporter. Some people watching this might know me from doing the Villa View. I think we met a few years ago and we on Wow, and we spoke about my speech as well, and it kind of went from there, didn't it?
Yeah, blossoming into a guest appearance on the future podcast. Who'd have thought it?
Fantastic.
Does everybody you bring on promote the Villa View on here?
Yeah.
Is this just a vehicle for that?
Yeah, well, that's ending now, so no
it doesn't really matter anymore, does it?
Why is it ending the amount of publicity you get?
So what we're doing today, we've been criticised on this podcast before, or I have anyway, for having a lack of knowledge. Hold my hands up, fair enough. Today's podcast is all about 1994 and 1996, obviously the last time that Villa won trophies at Wembley. You two were both there as young men, teenagers. Believe it or not, you're pretty much the same age.
I don't know what you're trying to say. I think you're being harsh to our guest there. I think he's wearing his age quite well.
So
it's just the moisture.
Yeah, good facial routine.
Definitely, that's what it's about.
I was born in 95.
So straddling the two.
So yeah, in between the two.
Thanks for that, mate.
What a bleak mid-90s year that was.
Yeah, what an unsuccessful
didn't even win a League Cup.
We had the 94 final, which the shirts are on the table for audio listeners. We've got a bit of set dressing again, thanks to our guest. He's actually come not only with set dressing and memorabilia, notes. Look at this.
Notes
on the podcast. They're not going to get used, are they? They're just there for effect.
Don't mention Dan's new girlfriend.
Awful. What an awful human being you are. Anyway. Nice. She'll be listening to this as well. Great stuff.
She's a keeper.
Is that your phone? Keep making noises. Can you stop it?
No, let's just see.
Maybe, hopefully, if you can hear that, that's Matt's unprofessionability. Definitely not a word. Anyway.
Turned everything off, I did, Dan.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah, good. I'll work with you again.
Unbelievable.
Back on topic. Obviously 1996 as well. Was born for that. Only 6 months old or something. I was born in the November of 95, so I've got a lack of knowledge.
Dan Rolinson origin story.
Yeah, we're building up to what this podcast is. So.
It's about me and Adam. We don't care about when you were born.
We're old. It's context.
There's blokes who know.
It's context.
We've seen Villa win a trophy.
I know, it's sad, isn't it? We'll come on to that at some point. We've seen the playoff final trophy.
Go on, anyway.
Yeah, so I'm here today.
What a long preamble this is.
I know, 4 minutes. People have turned off already. So this is kind of me to sit here, bring you two together and poke you for stories and to explain what it was like to be a Villa fan in the 90s when it looked like we were going to win trophies all the time.
And that's amazing.
Now we've not won a trophy for 24 years, which is crazy, isn't it, first of all?
It's grim, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you put it like that.
24 years without a trophy.
24 years, ouch.
Do you count the playoff final trophy for you two as an older generation? Does that count as a proper trophy?
I've spoken about this before, haven't I? Because I got the hump when they didn't have to do a I'm going to have to turn that off, aren't I?
Yeah, go on, turn it off. Just shut the lid.
Carry on.
Yeah, I'll just leave this in.
Carry on amongst yourself.
This podcast is a joke at this point. He doesn't turn up half the time. Are you going to come sit back in as well? Or final, what do you stand?
You know what? As I've said before, I was a bit disappointed that we didn't have an open doctors parade because any kind of silverware win is hard to come by for Villa. But no, I don't think it is a trophy.
Yeah.
Trophy.
Yeah. A trophy.
Do you know what I mean? Because 5 years ago, if you'd have said, right, how desperate are you for Villa to win a trophy? Oh, I'm that desperate I want to get relegated to win the playoff trophy.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have bothered, would you?
True.
Would you
consider that?
we're going massively off topic here. Would you have classed winning the championship as a proper trophy? Because that's winning a league. Is that any different? I'd say that's slightly more different, but I still wouldn't count that as FA Cup, League Cup, Premier League, Champions League, playoff final trophy. They're not in the same bracket, are they?
Probably
winning the championship also is not in the same bracket.
No.
Anyway, to forget championship, we're talking about the 90s.
Yeah, we're back now.
We're back. Transport yourself back. We'll do it in order. 94 first. How old are you in 94, both of you?
14 I was.
14, how are you?
Young git. So we're talking the final was around this time of year.
I think so.
I would
In
have been
March.
15 going on 16, yeah.
When's your birthday?
May 25th.
Okay. Ooh, nice.
Don't ask me what kind of mom's made now, so you just hack into my account.
Yeah. Okay, so 14 and 15, Villa win silverware. What was the road to Wembley like, first of all? What are your memories of that? Obviously, we can sit here and talk about Wembley in the actual final, but what was it
to
like?
Wembley really kind of built on it, because if you look back, all those matches that we had right from the off were all really entertaining matches.
Yeah.
I think we played Birmingham in the first round, didn't we?
Yeah,
Played Birmingham,
Blues.
and then
Was Sunderland in there?
Sunderland.
I remember going away to Tottenham, and we won away at Tottenham.
Yeah.
God, you should know this off by heart, shouldn't we?
If only we had some notes.
We beat Birmingham, Sunderland, Arsenal,
Wow.
Spurs in the quarterfinals, and then obviously Tranmere.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Tranmere a little bit later.
One of my favourite
semi-finals.
memories
And
along the way.
all of those matches were brilliant.
Yeah, the memory that sticks in my head is, I hope I've got this right again, my lack of preparation doesn't let me down. It was the Blues one, wasn't it? It was Paul Tate and Kevin Richardson. Have I got the right game?
Yes.
Paul Tate shoved him, Paul Tate's obviously a kind of hated, despised Birmingham City player.
Yes.
And he had a bit of a kind of set to with Kevin Richardson near the
Pushed him over the...
that's it, near the Trinity touchline. He pushed him over the advertising hoarding, and somebody had Kevin Richardson in their lap in their lap that day. There was obviously a bit of needle and a bit of edge to it. I mean, it's Tranmere, isn't it? That's when it suddenly came alive. I mean, I remember on the got the coach to the Tranmere away game for the first semi final, and there was I think it was a guy called Nolan. I think it was a guy called Nolan who scored the first goal for Tranmere that night. So the Daniel Atkinson salvaged a goal in the last minute, so we've got 3-1. So there's a little glimmer, but everybody's still miserable on the coach trip back, except this one guy who somewhere randomly has picked Tranmere's right back out of the sweep for the first goal scorer.
They used to do that, didn't you, back in the day?
And he's buzzing. You're thinking, hang on, mate, we're all kind of crestfallen just because you've got... we better check the facts back. Ian Nolan's probably never played for Tranmere, but that was my memory of the occasion. But it was that glimmer, wasn't it? It was that goal
when he scored in the last minute. It was like,
yeah, my dad talks about that as well.
Back in it now, because 3-0 against Tranmere. I think we were obviously in the Premier League at the time, but they were in the.
I think the third tier, weren't they? Whatever that was called.
First or the second tier. So it was like, I'm with 3-0 down here. Well, what's going on?
Yeah.
Did you think it was over at that point after the first leg? Because obviously you look back at now at that goal and you go, how massive was that goal? Whereas at the time, surely you'd be thinking, it's still 3-1.
I don't know. I think I was speaking to Adam off camera and off microphone and saying back then, you just expected Villa to win at Villa Park. Villa are a good team. They're one of the best teams in the country. So... although you'd think all is lost with a 2-goal deficit against a lower league opposition with the whole end kind of bouncing. I think it's on a Sunday afternoon, on a sunny Sunday afternoon.
It was definitely on a Sunday afternoon. Wow.
So, I don't know, without going too Ron Saunders on you, it was kind of don't bet against us. You just turn up at Villa Park every week, believing, like now you turn up at Villa Park every week thinking, oh crikey, we can snatch a draw from whoever's bottom of the league. You turn up at Villa Park expecting to win, and it wasn't just expected to win.
That match, it was end, wasn't it? It was open. They could have scored, we should have scored, they could have scored. It was just going, wasn't it? All the time, back and forth, It was like, blimey, what a game this is.
It was just amazing, and I've probably shared this story before, but my wife, she can't stand football, and me working in this job has probably kind of moved her further apart from football, and now a weekends are taken by dropping my lad off at training and coming to watch. So fair play to her, she's kind of had to embrace it. She's been to she should love football more than anybody. She's been to 2 football matches at Villa Park. She's seen us beat Tranmere on penalties, and she's seen us beat Inter Milan on penalties.
Oh, wow.
You think she'd have a season ticket for life? Do you know what I mean? But it was. It
doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Yeah.
It was just a fantastic experience, and I just remember going back. I think I taped. It must have been on VHS. I must have taped the highlights on ITV to go back or to actually tape the whole match on ITV and gone back and watched it when I got home that night. And there's this great piece of commentary when Sean Teal steps up to take his penalty. I don't know if you remember it or you heard it.
I don't think I've even heard it.
The commentator says something like he likens him to John Wayne, and he says John Wayne. He tethers up his horse. All this kind of.
That's on YouTube anyway.
I can't remember the exact words, but then he says, and then he fires a bullet straight down the middle. It's just like really kind of memorable piece of commentary.
The man dubbed John Wayne by his manager gets off the horse, ties it up to the post, pulls out the gun, gets his finger on the trigger, and fires the bullet right down the middle.
I must confess, I did invade.
Did you? We talked about pitch invasions not long ago, didn't we? And you were like, oh, can't stand them.
Yeah, I did invade. I didn't say that. I don't want pitch invasions.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh no, I was saying for the benefit of the tape. What I was saying about pitch invasions is it's obviously more of a joy for the people in the lower tier than the upper tier. But when
I was in the upper, and I was just seeing all these fans running on the pitch. I'm like, what's going on? I've never experienced this before. Fans good, and I'm like, well, I can't go anywhere, can I?
Is that the first pitch invasion that you would have seen? Then? Both of you.
Would have been for me, certainly the first one.
So.
First one I took part in. But
you had the legs fit then, though, didn't you?
Say again?
You had the legs fit back then, though, didn't you?
I don't know if I could get my leg over the hoarding now, mate, to be honest. But it was just. I hadn't been. I think I had been to Wembley before to see England schoolboy international or something.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I've been to Wembley with Villa, so it was just a kind. And as a teenage kid, it was just such a brilliant prospect.
Brilliant to be at Wembley. You heard all the stories about it, and the build up. The match was huge. Are we going to be there? Are we going to get there? Because I think it had been 15 years since the Villa had been at Wembley, and there was a whole kind of age range that had never been there before, and it was just like massive, wasn't it?
What I've always said about it, probably to the point of boring people, because I've probably written the same piece about 10 times, it was like it was our Rotterdam.
Absolutely.
For people of mine and Alan's age, it was our Rotterdam.
100%.
You know, I'd have been 4 years old when Villa won the European Cup. You'd have been 2 or 3 years old. So we've grown up hearing stories about that, but we weren't lucky enough to witness that. You know, for ourselves. This was the next best thing, and then to not only do it but to repeat it 2 years ago. And without me sounding like your history teacher, I do sympathise for people. God, I'm like a granddad now. People of your generation and people of my son's generation. You're thinking, okay, we've been to Wembley and they've tasted success at Wembley, but it's, I don't know, perhaps it's just me being nostalgic and looking it through cloud spectacles, but we've seen Villa win something. Actually win something.
Well, I've said in the past, possibly even on this podcast, but I've definitely said it to friends and stuff, that like the playoff final, as much as it isn't a proper trophy and all that, it's the first time I've ever seen a Villa captain stood with a trophy above his head. So that will always be
What about that thing that won on pre-season? That massive trophy that John Terry and James Chester carried around that they were selling on eBay for like £12.33.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all those amazing memories of that. But yeah, that's the first at Wembley. Claret and blue ribbons on a trophy. As much as there'll be people listening to this that think that's a silly thing, for people of my age, of even Ash, was he 27, I think, or something like that, was a couple of years older. That's the first time that we've seen Villa lift a trophy and been at an age that we remember it. So
it makes it even more impressive, really, considering that Villa Park sells out every week. Because you're probably, I'm guessing now, I haven't got the market research at my fingertips, who'd have thought, but you're probably talking at least 30-40% of that stadium hasn't in the same position as you.
Yeah, exactly.
But they go in there on kind of blind faith or believe in the kind of the legends that are told down to them by old granddads like me and Adam. Yeah. Can I ask you a question about the process for getting tickets?
Yeah,
talking of tickets.
Back in the day,
that was. I mean, it's completely different now, is it? I mean, I had season tickets at the time. How it was easy. You just went in and I think you had to share something off your season ticket to get an actual final ticket. But everyone else was like cutting out the little badges off the back of the programmes.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Which seems ridiculous because I had all of them because I used to get a programme on every game. Yeah. Well, because I'd got a season ticket, I didn't need it. So basically I was like, oh, Adam's got the programmes. I became the most popular person at school because everyone was after these. And they're only about that big, weren't they? Off the corners. And Adam, have you got any of this kid? And all of a sudden, I'm like, where's all these mates suddenly come from? Everyone's used to like, here's the lad with the Heacham Hedemans, and all of a sudden I'm like, Adam, how's it going, mate? You all right? Have you got any of those things? No, mate.
Have you got any things? It's bizarre because I've got to say, by that time, at the age of, what say I was 15, myself and my mate were trusted enough to go up the match on our own, so we catch the number 11 from Bearwood and make our own way there. So I got a season ticket with my mate. But because Wembley was seen a bit further away and a bit more of a thing, I don't think my parents wanted us to go to the big bright lights of London town. But exact thing, because I've been collecting, my mate Gaz had been collecting programmes for every game. I've been collecting programmes for every game. My dad could come with me, who's a Wolves fan.
Never been.
And my mate's uncle, Gaz's uncle, Rob, could come, who's an Albion fan. We've got pictures of them both in there with bloody Villa hats on. Talk about obsessed.
You used to have to stick them out. Wasn't there like an A4 piece of paper or something? And you had to cut it out and then stick it on a little badge and you got all the numbers.
I can't remember.
Is that what you said?
I remember
somebody's got those somewhere,
memory of that.
I remember queuing. You still had to queue, but you had to queue in person rather than that little walking man that you get online that walks across the screen. It was great for camaraderie because you'd be stood next to somebody you didn't know for 2 hours, just chatting about Villa and whether who should play in the final and all this kind of stuff. It was just a lot more communal. I mean, I do sound like an old man telling stories from the war now, don't I?
My dad told me a story. It's one of those ones that I can't believe is true, and it's probably one of those things that's a bit hearsay. I don't know whether it's for 94 or 96, but apparently there was a big deal for the first person that got his ticket at the club shop.
I reckon we probably would have.
You've probably written about it.
Not me at the time, unless I did it from in my GCSE homework. But I reckon, if we checked our archives here, I reckon
which we should have done.
We probably should have done. But they're all based down in Watford now. They're all electronics. You have to put. If we wanted to get photos in time for a final on March the 1st, we'd probably have to put a request in on the first round back in September or whatever. But yeah, it was.
The story is that I'm going to do with this, which we'll talk about in a second. Apparently, the story is that the first person to get his ticket kind of celebrated and waved it in the air, and it was very windy, and his ticket blew away.
Are you confusing this with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? the plot from that? Was he called Augustus Gloop?
My dad told me. I was like, nah, sure, that's true.
I can't remember.
Apparently the ticket got lost and the club had to give him replacement ones for free because they were like the first person to get it and they were celebrating and the wind caught it and it flew away.
I don't know.
No, it wouldn't happen these days
I
with
don't
the
know about
digital email getting blown away.
You don't know, do you? With Storm Dennis or whatever, you could find that your kind of laptop gets blown out the window or something. Yeah.
To fair, my tickets this year took ages to turn up. Just a little fun fact. Took 2 weeks for mine to come.
No, mine took about 3 days.
Yeah, no, I was very worried that I wasn't going to get them, but yeah, they're here now. Anyway, this ticket, so you've bought in some props and some memorabilia, which I love, by the way. The commitment is excellent. The ticket from the game, Sunday, 27th of March, 1994, kick-off 5 p.m, £26 this ticket cost, which is
that seems quite pricey to me.
Do you think?
For back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day, it is.
I reckon that would have been one of the... I reckon the tickets probably would have ranged from something like £18 to £40.
Yeah.
The adult, that might have been possibly, because obviously we were young then, we were under 16.
Somebody else's money then, so...
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say what
my dad would have
class it is.
Hades. Oh, he'd have been all right.
But this ticket, so 1994, this I said this to you off camera, so you already know what's coming. This ticket has been on the planet longer than I have. I feel like I need like white gloves and something to pick
it's
it
more
up.
valuable than you as well, isn't it?
Oh, no, I feel like I'm going to wave it around. It's going to disintegrate into nothing. Do you want to have a look? It's great for the audio-only listeners, by the way, who won't be able to see it, but I'd recommend going over to YouTube and seeing the little stuff we've got.
Try and blag me way in.
Has it got a barcode on it? Is there no barcode on the ticket?
No barcodes. You ripped them off. You ripped it and then you handed it.
I don't know if there would be a barcode, but that's
Trust me, the colour printers weren't good enough back then to try and forge one of these bad boys.
This is a weirder question. Does it smell old? You know, like old books?
I don't know, 'cause I don't know whether it's me or whether it's this.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Does not
On the
smell
subject
weird, but it's a little bit
of
yellow.
smelling old, I've managed to dig.
Where's this going?
Got pods on jobbing and old, folks. No. On the subject of smelling old, I managed to dig my 96 shirt out of the loft.
Nice.
Did I mention
Oh, is this the Mark Draper one?
The Draper one, and it smells like church pews. Well, I did actually used to be a choir boy back in the day, but I can't imagine that I wore it. What? You know, you've got that kind of mothbally kind of, that really...
It's like when you've had something in the wardrobe for a couple of years and then you get it and it smells a bit like dirty wardrobe.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's been in the loft in a box. So I was asking people for tips how to get it clean. I had a few suggestions, like stick it in vinegar.
Put it in rice, I said.
Put it in rice and put it near a humidifier and all this stuff. And there's a mate of mine who played football years ago, an Albion fan, and he said... why don't you take it to the cleaners? Because that's where the rest of you that's what's going to happen to your team on Saturday. Ooh. And I went to reply today, but I think he's deleted it because I was going to put something like, I could just spray it with your obsession instead.
Like that. Love that.
Always think about it after the event, don't you? But, what were we saying?
Right, I'm looking at the other prop that Adam's bought in is the final or the programme from the final of '94. Again, older than me. £4 this cost. It's like,
that would have
15 quid these days, isn't it? Is that a lot again? 4 quid back then?
Back then it was,
I think so. I mean, like I was only 15.
You usually got a match day programme for about 150.
Who's that?
Yeah, well, I reckon 4 quid. 4 quid back then would have been a night's drinking money for me over the park.
Yeah, but you're tight, aren't you? So
yeah, but that would have been like...
I've been out for a drink, it's 4 quid these days.
Pound a pint.
That'd probably been a bottle of Thunderbirds, a can of Strongbow or something. What a night that'd be. 4 quid was a lot of money. I think 28 quid was a lot of money back then.
For the ticket. So to get down to Wembley, you're looking at, for the programme, looking at 30 odd quid.
Oh, back then you could have bought a house, bought a car, gone on a cruise around the world, bought a packet of Woodbines and still had change for £0.50.
£0.50. Don't even know what that is. So back to 94 then, after Tranmere, obviously you kind of have this this comeback. Is there any point where you think, oh yeah, it feels like our name's on the trophy? Or was you still looking ahead thinking Man United? I'm not
because then it went to extra time as well, didn't it? Went to penalties.
So obviously this year we're all looking at Man City and going, oh God, we're going to get...
Yeah, well, Man United
were... was back then in 94.
Man United were the ultimate favourites. You know, they were about to win the treble, weren't they? That's what Villa fans sang when we won the cup. You know, where's your treble gone? You know, they were the dominant force.
Where's your treble gone, man? It's like, oh,
yeah, they were the dominant force. So I reckon you probably could have got better odds on Villa winning that day than you could.
Well, Villa weren't in the near the bottom three.
No, this weekend it was more of an even contest in that sense, but it was still, everybody thought Man United would.
Because even though we were runners up the year before in the league, that's right, isn't it? I think that season, the season after finishing runners up, we finished mid-table, and I think around about the time of the match, the actual final, we were like 8th, 9th, something like that, and they were like obviously right up there, weren't they? And I think we'd lost our 3 matches leading up
I don't think we're in
to
great
that.
form.
We weren't in great form, and everyone was like, "Oh man, you're going to thrash you. You know, you're going to get battered." A bit like this weekend, like everyone's saying that. But and now I'm thinking, but what if? And we weren't expecting it, but what a performance!
It was just because Ron sprung the surprise, didn't he?
The Graham Fenton
Fenton in there, and
It
it wouldn't have been the same, would it? You know, we're talking about pre-social media. So if that happened now, if Twitter was around then, imagine
meltdown.
before the teams are announced, it'd be like, kind of, Big Ron out would have been trending, wouldn't it? And that kind of stuff. But it was just trusted the manager, because he'd already delivered some big moments by then. And you went to see him the other day, Dan, didn't you? He's still really charismatic kind of guy, carries himself with a swagger, and you just thought, why not?
Yeah.
Why not dare to dream, if you like? And it was. I can just still. I was behind the end where Dalian Atkinson opened the scoring.
Me too.
And, we talk about Peter With's shin. And
it seemed like it was rolling forever. So long to cross the line. It was like,
it was like that. It was okay, it's going to go in. And Steve Bruce still couldn't catch it.
It was Bruce, wasn't it?
But it was brilliant. And then they just... Listen, you speak to any Wolves fans and you mention the name Dean Saunders, and they'll kind of... they'll chase you out of town. But Dean Saunders was an ultimate hero back then.
Without a doubt.
Cheeky chapper. He used to kind of
loved him.
Do the old stick the tongue out to concentrate whenever he could trap the ball and that kind of stuff. Has he got his tongue out there? Oh, right, there you go then.
I love
and him and Dalian, and back then they used to produce these videos every now and again, and they used to have this. You just see little glimpses that you wouldn't have Instagram, so you wouldn't see how players interacted with each other unless you bought this VHS for 10 quid. And
I'm literally about to mention
still
it now.
got them.
I'm trying to butt in as soon as I can. So I'm looking through the programme while you two are chatting away, and there's an advert for Aston Villa's road to Wembley on video. It says follow Big Ron and the lads on the road to Wembley for the Coca-Cola Cup, all the way from the first round to this afternoon's final whistle. The goals, near misses and moments of sheer magic are all here, from a look behind the scenes with Ron Atkinson and his squad to the best of the action from today's big match, out April 18th.
Do you know what that says to me?
Available from all good video stockists.
When's it out? April the 18th?
April 18th.
What day was the final?
March 27th.
Oh, so they were going to include the
final. Had the final.
Because I thought if they were just going to do the road to Wembley, that's a very defeatist. Let's get the video out now. Let's get the video out now. We ain't going to win this.
It says, from press conferences to press suits, as the team's new outfits for the final are delivered on camera. Don't miss it. Only $10.99.
From press conferences to
only $10.99.
From press conferences to pressed suits.
Pressed suits, as in ironed.
As in, yeah.
Oh,
it's good, that, isn't it? It's a good advert. I'll put some footage of this in for YouTube, because I'm happy just to sit here and read this program.
Put a few screen grabs of that in.
Yeah, there's all like Big Ron's program notes and stuff as well. Like, we could do a whole podcast on the stuff in here alone, to be honest. And we've got the 96 one down there as well. Obviously, the match itself. On the day, what did the day look like for the both of you? How did you get down there? Was it train? Was it coaches? Or did you drive? Do you remember these things?
Yeah, so I went down with my dad and his mate and his child as well. And we went really early. We left the match didn't
5 o'clock is like
kick off till 5. And my dad was like, oh yeah, we'll go around London, we'll make a big hay of it. And even from early on, I was just like, Dad, let's go to Wembley now. Dad, I want to go to Wembley. I was getting nervous. I just wanted to go. And he was like, son, it don't kick off for 5 or 6 hours. I know, but let's just go now. So yeah, we went around London, and then Eve eventually I persuaded him to head off to Wembley. We got there about 2:30, and I can just remember walking off the tube and then down Wembley Way, and it's nothing like kind of it is nowadays, is it? Wembley Way is nothing like it was years and years ago, and just the noise and the colour just hit me, and I just walking down, there's people singing, got the flags out,
Yeah.
and I was just blown away by the whole atmosphere, really, and just walking down, just soaking it all in. And I still remember that now, because you walk off the Wembley Way down the tube, and then you see the Wembley there in the distance. It was just amazing. It really was.
Old Wembley as well.
Yeah, it was
different.
it was bizarre. I think I presume my dad must have driven us down there that day. But what I remember, we've got some photographs. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to flick through your album.
Sorry that the
Also, I love this,
the
by
audio,
the way.
the audio
There's
listening.
the advert on the back
Right,
for the
that,
kids.
isn't it?
That's a very good advert, that is.
It is
Nice.
smart. That is. Yeah, so I just remember kind of getting my face painted. I mean, I was properly working mid-90s fashion. I've got the muller, the green muller.
Oh my God, you've got the
a white
programme in your
top on.
hand.
I've got the programme, yeah. Look, I'm on brand.
Oh, I love
Look,
it.
I've got an Inter Milan tracksuit top on. What's going on? I'm talking about hedging my bets.
Is that blue in the hair as well?
I've had some really terrible kind of hair dye in there.
Yeah.
That's before I've got my face painted.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the kind of acne that I had back then, I'm surprised I was letting. Maybe I had my face painted to cover it all up, to be honest, but I wouldn't have wanted to touch that face.
They're
But
brilliant
yeah,
pictures,
so we got there. You know, I had a bit of a wonder. I remember, well, I'm probably being harsh on him now, but I don't think my dad wanted to pay Wembley food prices, so we found some kind of low rate kind of budget KFC on the outskirts of Wembley.
That's brilliant.
What's that one?
Getting your face painted with your tongue
Doing
out.
doing the Dino tongue out there as well, yeah.
Lovely.
So, and we actually waited for I remember greeting the coach when the coach arrived as well. So,
With flares.
say that again.
With flares.
I don't know what I was wearing to be honest. But yeah, it was. Listen, if we'd have lost it, would I have remembered all this? Would I?
No.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Would Adam have kept his tickets? Would we have had a photo album of it? I don't think I would.
We wouldn't be doing this podcast for a start, would we? Stuff like the two finals.
Yeah, when are we doing the 2010 one?
Oh yeah, that was my first time at Wembley. That was 2010. These pictures are so good, by the way. I just wish, look at the old Wembley as well. It looks so different.
I don't know whether you remember, but I remember Mark Hughes scored, didn't he, to make it
That's
2-1
right, yeah.
in like 82nd or
Yeah.
8th, and you just thought, oh, here we go again.
here we go.
It's the Villa.
Yeah.
They always score late. It's and United, they're famous for scoring
That's
in the
it,
93rd night, and you just thought, oh no, please Villa, and then obviously we went on and 3, and he hit the penalty. He got
Yeah. I still see Kanchelski's face. Bless him.
Kanchelski's
He got sent off, didn't he?
handball got sent
Big
off,
Ron
and
said
then
that they were,
Saunders smacks the penalty down,
Yeah.
and you think 3-1. Surely we're not
Yeah.
going to throw this away.
Well, we've done some interview stuff with Tony Daly and Ron Atkinson this week, which will be out after this. And Tony Daly was saying that the only time that he felt nervous really was when it went to 3-1.
Right.
Funnily enough, because he was
That's
kind
weird,
of like now kind of feel like, oh my god, we're about to do it. What if it doesn't happen? Kind of thing. Whereas Big Ron was saying that when the guy got sent off, what was his name?
Kanchelski.
Andrei Kanchelskis.
Kanchelskis, they were like screaming for him not to get sent off. There's like it's the last minute, like in a cup final, like don't
He
bother
looked
kind of thing.
crestfallen, you know.
Yeah,
Just
they
see
were kind of
still-
But he's
Yeah,
like
that's
a
not
handball, weren't he?
This is the thumbnail, by the way. I think I'm going to try and somehow get a scan of this photo. Was this a goal or something? Is this during
I think
the
that
game?
was probably
after the game.
after the event, to be honest.
How good is that?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
Look at that.
put that
Fond
there.
memories of having a fringe.
Oh, isn't it?
Hair? Just having hair. There's also the other side of this photo album is just personal.
Yeah,
let's get them out.
Really? Oh God,
that's my wife.
your wife was
way.
you met your wife at school.
I know people can't actually see this back home. Where's my wife gone? She's on here somewhere.
This one.
There's my wife there,
No
pointing,
way.
looking bossily.
Did you meet her at school?
Yeah, childhood sweethearts.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Had a few breaks along the way, but
Where did she go? Is this Els?
say again.
This is Els.
No, it's Britannia High School, man. It's in the Raleigh Ridge. It's since been razed to the ground.
Oh, I don't know what I'm looking for. Your old school photos.
Feel free, mate.
Quite funny, to be fair.
Yeah, I fancied that one there.
Thanks for bringing that in. Should we talk about 96 on this massive podcast? We finished on 94. Have you got any other memories of 94?
We won.
We won.
One.
Yeah. So 96, we get back there again. What was the road to Wembley like then?
Oh, check your notes, Adam. I can't remember. The semi-final was a bit of a war of attrition, I think, against Arsenal.
Beat
Again, we've got programmes and tickets here.
Portsmouth, Stockport, Stockport, I have no memories of that whatsoever. QPR, Wolves in the quarters. I think that's when Tommy Johnson scored, did he?
Yeah.
Tommy Johnson in the quarters. And then obviously Arsenal in the semi-final. Did we go 2-0 down and then we come back to 2-2 in the first leg, and then the second leg was
away goals, didn't we?
0-0, wasn't it? And we went through on away
It
goals.
was a battle of Brian Little versus his old teammate and friend Bruce Briock, who was in charge of Arsenal back then. It's funny because it took, when we went to see Rob Bishop, Villa's kind of former Evening Mail man, Villa historian, if you like,
yeah,
Villa program guru.
Legend, Rob.
He was reminding me, have we put the Bish thing out yet?
Probably not. It will be out at some point this week.
He was talking about I think it was a Stockport game. I think it was. Do you remember flick the ball up and Draper volleyed the?
Mark Draper. Oh, right, was that Stockport?
Yeah.
I was thinking Queen's Park Rangers. No,
I think it was Stockport. I think it was Stockport, but we'll
let Rob Bishop confirm.
We'll have to check that for you. But yeah, so like I said, Draper.
Peterborough actually. I think it might have been Peterborough. Anyway,
Was it the same cup run?
I think it was.
Draper was a hero. I don't know why, because I used to play left back at school, but I used to fancy myself as a kind of a marauding midfielder.
Flicked it up and put it on his knee, didn't he?
Yeah,
and
that's
hit
it.
it in the
Volleyed
top
it in,
corner.
yeah. So Draper, I'd got Draper on the back of my shirt then, because I fancied myself as this marauding.
And this is the shirt you found? Is it the same one?
Yeah.
The mouldy one.
So I am going to, mould or no mould, I'm going to wear it on there.
Oh, yeah.
It fits, but only because I've said this before. I used to wear it over a coat.
Okay. So it's big
You
anyway.
used to go up in the winter and you still want your colours on display, so you'd stick it over
Just brought it big.
over a tracksuit top
That's his excuse anyway.
or whatever. That's it. I was a really fat child. Who'd have thought I'd grown into a really fat adult? What's the chances of that? All that cheap KFC from by the side of Wembley in '94, innit?
So the programme for 96 went up £1. It was a £5 instead of £4. Prices went up
we
in
got
96.
tickets.
Tickets there, yeah.
Inflation.
Put it in front of you.
Shows how much
That was that 10 minutes. So obviously Villa Leeds, people that don't know, I'm looking at the badges now.
It's £36 for this as well, because I've always
36.
judged the rate of inflation on the price of Freddos. but now
Wembley
I
tickets.
think we can do it on Wembley tickets.
I wonder what it was in 2010. Useless information because we don't know, but I wonder what it was
That's
then.
why then, mate.
nice.
To blag me
I
away
think I've
by
got
then.
mine
Have you?
somewhere.
I've probably got it somewhere.
It was a lot.
Can I have a look?
96, the final.
Again,
was
feels like a relic.
lot easier on the old blood pressure.
Yes,
Can you speak
definitely.
up, Rob?
Very
Because
comfortable, wasn't
it was probably as comfortable and convincing a cup final performance as I've seen up until Arsenal smashing us 4-0
Yeah.
in the FA Cup a few years
Tell
back.
you what, though, I don't think it'd have been easy on the blood pressure had Birmingham beat Leeds in this.
Yeah, that's right.
Hemis.
Yeah.
Because imagine that.
Oh, that
Villa
played-
Birmingham
that was
in
what
the
it was?
final.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Leeds against Birmingham in
Wow.
the
Imagine
semi
paying the
final.
overtime bill for the police force.
And
that
all
day.
you could think of is you stopped off on the M40. There'd be riots every
yeah.
service station. I bet they were like that. Come on, Leeds. The Birmingham police would have been like, "Come on, Leeds, you've got to do it."
I was going to ask, but I forgot. For the '94 final, when you were thinking, Tranmere and playing a lower league opposition in the semi, what was the other semi-final? Who did Man United play? Do you know? Because would you be thinking, oh God, I wish we'd have had so and so instead of Tranmere?
I don't know, mate.
No.
Don't know.
And it sounds really, really stupid, but football wouldn't have dominated. Well, because we'd be teenagers and we'd be probably trying to discover girls or whatever it might be, or getting home to watch
Seen the
Neighbours.
proof of that there in the other half of the album.
But because there wasn't the blanket coverage of it
Yeah, true.
online or
find
on
that.
social media, you'd go to the match, you'd have a chat with your mate, you'd chat about with your mate at school,
Yeah.
and then you'd probably not forget about it, but you wouldn't give it a great deal of attention. You might listen to a phone in on WM or something. So I don't think there's the same level of chatter around it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that about Leeds played Birmingham in the '96 one. Imagine that for the Leeds
Semi-final,
final in
that'd have
the
been
League Cup
mad,
final.
wouldn't it?
Oh,
It was so yeah, Leeds. It was just Savo spanking in that goal.
Yeah.
Savo Misalotovic
What a
was
goal as well.
getting stick.
Which was always harsh, I thought. I don't think he ever.
I don't think he's got. I think if you looked at his stats now, I don't think he's got a bad return.
I think he
to be honest,
was a good player, and when he hit it, obviously, then everyone loves him. Then doesn't he? And he was like, "But what a goal!"
Man United beat Sheffield Wednesday 5-1 on aggregate, by the way.
Did they?
Yeah, another one of Ron's former teams. He managed Sheffield Wednesday before Villa, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then Man United after. Is that right? Yeah.
No, Man United
before.
Was that before as well?
Yeah.
Good knowledge from me there. Yeah, so it was one of Big Ron's former clubs in the final regardless. Little tidbit there. Back to 96.
Back to 96. It's just perfect because the three people you'd want to score all scored.
Yeah,
like Savo
had
been a bit of a scapegoat, if you like. Dwight York was the Calypso
main man,
superstar, wasn't he? And then you got Ian Taylor, the boy who had been,
loved him even more.
He'd been there as a fan in '94,
I mean,
and then
that's
he'd been
incredible.
scoring the winning goal, not the winner, getting on the score sheet in 96.
Great story.
I've got down here.
I've stolen your line there.
I've noticed the
What
sad,
a story! What a
sad
story
face
of
on your
being in
notes.
the crowd in '94, just start enjoying it, and then 2 years later, you're out on the pitch,
Scoring a goal.
actually playing for your team, scoring,
Love that.
and when you can't comprehend that.
If you had
That's
to,
just incredible.
Just on that subject, if you had to pick 3 scorers that you'd like to score from this team, who would you pick?
Good shout.
I've got 3 scorers.
Yeah. So we're gonna look.
I've done a
We'll be
piece
lucky to
this
get
week.
one.
We've done a piece with me, Ash, and James, and another Villa fan we got here.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, I don't know whether you can write that. Can you write?
I can't know.
No, well, we've done a piece and we've had to predict the score. I can't bring myself to predict Villa losing. I predicted a 2-1 win, and I'm thinking, I think I've written in it, don't put your mortgage on it. Don't even put your pocket money on it. Just, I don't know. I don't
Grealish,
care.
obviously.
Yeah. It's a hypothetical question for a game on the
Grealish,
podcast.
obviously. I mean, that would be an unbelievable story. A bit like Taylor if Jack was to score.
Yeah, so Villa beat Man City 3-0 on Sunday. 3 goal scorers. Grealish, obviously. I'd like Samatta to score.
Mings and Samatta, yeah,
Just to
because
see.
he would earn a bit of a...
Just to see Tanzania explode with joy.
Yeah, that would be
Imagine
incredible.
the scenes there if he scores the winning goal at Wembley.
Daters.
Don't get way ahead of myself here, by the way.
Yeah, let's
The thing
just
about
take it one step at a time.
1996 was it was the reverse of 94 because nobody expected us to win in 94, whereas I think 96 at the time we were in the fourth spot, hovering around third, fourth. In 96, Leeds were like 12th, 13th-ish, like this. So we were obviously playing well.
Yeah.
Leeds were a bit rusty. So really, it was the reverse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the Villa are going to win." So
Yeah. Well, considering that went into it with that pressure on them, like I said, it was a really, really convincing, comprehensive performance.
How did that feel as a fan going
Never
into
in
it?
doubt.
In 94, you go in there thinking, oh God, Man United. In 96, you go thinking, yeah, we got this.
Yeah, we win the League Cup every 2 years. That was just the way
That's
it
just
was.
what
wasn't it?
happens.
Yeah, just the way it was.
Does that? Cause obviously, we can kind of like joke about that kind of thing now with hindsight. Did it actually feel like that at the time? Obviously, you were youngsters
I
anyway.
thought
definitely.
I was so in '96. I'm then having a drink. I'm kind of 17, 18. Didn't say what I'm drinking, did I? Vodka. But I thought that by the time I would not that I would be thinking massively about my mid-20s at that point. I thought by the time I'd be mid-20s, Villa would have won the Premier League title.
Yeah.
I actually thought I believed under Big Ron we're going to win the Premier League title, but I believed under Brian Little,
Runners up, we were nearly
even
there.
John Gregory, I believe we're going to win the Premier League title. So it
Top of the
didn't
league,
seem like a massive
John
stretch.
Gregory.
Yeah.
If anything,
We
it
were
was
always
disappointing that
there
we
or
didn't
thereabouts,
get to the
weren't
FA Cup final that
Yeah.
year in '96 as well.
Because we lost
to Liverpool, didn't we?
in the semi-final.
Yeah, Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, I was at that game as well.
Yeah, at Old Trafford. So
Nice
it
for him.
was just a done thing. Yeah, Aston Villa get to
3-0,
Wembley and win
wasn't it?
trophies.
Wow. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
3-0.
It's obviously again the younger generation, the youngster generation. We didn't see anything like that. We had my first memories of O'Neill, and whilst we played well, we didn't really. Obviously, had 2010, we were there twice. But I was obviously a little bit. No, I was younger than you are now. I was like 11 or 12.
Younger than
Hang on a minute, wait a sec.
Younger than you were then.
2010, I was 15 as well.
Yeah.
So I was the same age as you when you had your 94 stuff. I had the semi-final and the final in 2010, but we'd obviously lose both. So I'm kind of thinking, we're all right, but we're not quite good enough to get over the line. It was my early memories with Villa, and obviously you get back there again in 2014 was Arsenal, and get battered, and you think, all right, well, I know what it is now.
And it hadn't kind of
always going to let me down.
It hadn't started. The big cracks in the relationship with O'Neill and Lerner hadn't quite come to the forefront back then. You must have even thought leaving Wembley that you'd probably be back there semi-regularly, or Villa would be a Champions League team in the next 2 or 3 years, and these big occasions would happen.
Yeah. And then you've had 2014 FA Cup final, and then the playoff. 2015, and then playoff finals, isn't it? After that.
You know, I saw you. I wasn't involved in the podcast the other day because I was watching documentaries. But I saw that
Did you actually watch it?
I didn't watch it. I saw you tweet something out about it.
Okay.
I saw that you tweeted the kind of dilemma if you could win the cup.
Yes.
You know, would you rather win the cup and go down, or stay up and get battered on Sunday afternoon?
Had some flack for that, by the way.
Yeah, and I find most people said Premier League's everything, which I get. I really understand that. But if that's the case, why haven't I had kind of 400 text messages or WhatsApp messages in the last 2 weeks saying, can you get me a ticket for Watford at home?
Humble brag there, you get 400 WhatsApps.
Do you know what I mean, though?
No,
Very good point.
Because it's different, isn't it? It's a big day out, Wembley, as well. But I think on that dilemma, a lot of people... So the question was, you can win the League Cup, but that confirms your relegation in this weird hypothetical world. Or you can lose the League Cup and you confirmed Premier League status for next year. And most people said, well, it's obviously staying in the Premier League. Why is this even a question? Who would ever pick the other option? But people in the comments were picking the other option because winning a trophy is a massive deal. So it's a question. It's a hypothetical question because it's an actual thing.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
I would pick Premier League all day.
Without getting too deep, it cuts to the point of why do we support? Why do we follow football if it's not for big, exciting days out and winning things? And listen, nobody thinks, I'm going to go down the Villa on Saturday afternoon so that 35 years after I've died, I can remember that in the record books it says that we won a trophy at Wembley.
Yeah.
But over time, that's what it does. All this kind of my dad's bigger than you.
Out of it, haven't we? That's why we're here talking because we've been to Wembley and we've won.
Yeah, we're not going to do a podcast about staying in the Premier League in 1999, are we?
Well, you never know with us, mate, the depths that we plumb. But get that noted down, mate. I like that.
No, it is a fair point, though. Like
I think
you said,
it's really difficult. It's 50-50 for me.
Is it really 50-50?
I can't choose which one.
Obviously, I want to win a trophy, but if it was you're going down.
I really want to in a trophy and stay up if it's all possible. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But if you had to pick one,
pick one. I'm making you pick one.
Oh, I can't.
You pick one. I'll pick mine. I say I'd rather lose on Sunday to stay up.
I think right now, if I had to pick, probably staying up just because of what it means for the long-term future. That's
the only reason I think it.
If we get relegated, we're back to square one, aren't we? And so, if I had to pick, if you were really pushing me, probably stay up.
How about you? I saw someone say, why not both? And I laughed and read that as, what, lose the League Cup and go down? Go on then.
It's a really tough one, isn't it? Because I'll go to the matches with my lad now, and it was brilliant winning at Wembley last year. And I know we've said it's not a proper trophy and stuff like that. It was brilliant, and that's lodged now. There's photos of me and him there.
Definitely.
Yeah. And, you know, we've got one of our rooms decorated at home with a big picture wall, and that's going to be, like, one of that photo's going to be pride of place.
Yeah.
Now, I take him 18 times a season for the Premier League, but I don't think, as much as beating Watford in the last minute was brilliant, I don't think that photo will be on the photo wall.
Did you even take a photo?
Do you know what I mean? I can't remember, mate, to be honest.
That means we probably didn't. Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair point. I want to win on Sunday now. Obviously, I did want to win anyway. I'm not just saying, I've suddenly decided I want to win a trophy.
Yeah.
Like, winning a trophy would be massive, but it's contextual, isn't it? Because obviously, as the...
I think it's built up as well as the week has kind of gone on over the week.
Yeah.
And obviously, we lost and we were all full.
I've forgotten about that.
We've got to stay up, and we were down in the dumps and we were like, oh, come on. But as the week's gone on now and with the build up, I'm getting a bit more.
Yeah, I found that working through it, having to make Wembley related stuff. That I'm in the mood for the League Cup now.
It's a cup final.
Yeah, it's massive.
Why wouldn't you be excited about it?
Oh yeah, I know that.
No, I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying it's.
But I'm talking about the eternal pessimists of being a Villa fan. Is we're looking at it going, it's Man City and we're probably going to lose. That's why there's that little edge on it. If it was to be fair, if it was a Watford, we'd still be thinking, we're probably going to lose because it's typical Villa, isn't it?
Yeah, but just think, and I know I'm a silly old man, but it's Man City. They're supposed to be formidable. They've beat us 9-1 on aggregate so far this season.
We drew a win.
It makes it even sweeter, doesn't it?
Yeah. Big Ron said yesterday, we got him and Tony.
Name dropping?
I know, yeah, clang. We asked him and Tony Daly to look up.
And another.
It's literally my job, mate. To look down the camera and give a message to the players. We'll stick it on social media at some point. And Big Ron said something like, don't just go there for the day out. This is much of the fans as well a little bit. Don't just go there for the day out. Wembley is a place for glory. Go there and grasp it and go there and win.
Oh,
and I was like,
yes, come on, Big Ron.
Yes, we're going to win, Ron.
I bet you were standing 10 foot tall, pouncing around Ron's bark green sunroom.
Oh, a lovely, lovely open plan kitchen he's got. Very nice. Lovely little dogs as well. Max and Mia, I think they were called. Little yappy dogs running around. Lovely.
Unbelievable.
Great story.
Great bloke, Ron, by the way. We got
Take your missus there for the first date.
What is this? Going to Big Ron Atkinson's house for a date. Yeah. That wouldn't be weird, would it? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
I don't know.
Anything else you want to talk about? We're approaching an hour. I didn't think we'd get this far, to be honest. I thought you two would have run out.
Never underestimate the amount
I thought you two would have run out of memories by now. I thought you'd have struggled to remember things. But once we got started, I can see the little glint in your eyes.
I tell you what I do want to ask as a final thing, and we've obviously got your man Adam has been digging through his wardrobes to bring in some of his hip 1990s garments.
Yeah.
What's the dress code then for Sunday, guys?
Oh, good question. I'm going to let you go first.
I think I'm going to,
as the guest,
go with this one. So if you're only listening to this, pointing to the 1990 horse shirt, purely because that's the shirt I wore last year.
Yeah. Wise.
I think you're going to wear that because I think you want to recreate the Mac Killer. I think you can get an Inter Milan top. You're going to have your face painted because that's the stylish vibe. I'm going to scrub my Draper top.
Oh yeah,
because that's the one from 1996.
Go for
it. The last time that we won. I might have to breathe in a little bit to be honest to squeeze into it. But
is that the one with the little lines on? Like the embossed lines on it?
Yeah, I think
it is.
It's the IST one, isn't it? On the sponsor. It's a Reebok top, I think.
Yeah, Reebok, that's it. That's what I was thinking of. Has it got a collar on it? I think it has.
Oh, I can't remember.
Great knowledge for a podcast, this, isn't it? Before my time is my excuse. You can't remember. You literally own it.
Yeah, I actually saw it on my dining room table last night discussing how to remove mould from it.
Oh, disgusting. I'm going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to wear what I wore last year as a weird, superstitious thing.
Because I'm a bit superstitious like that.
We're travelling in the same way. We drove down to somewhere and then got the train in for the last bit, so we're doing the same again. We're in the same block as we were for the 2019 final. We wanted the lower tier somewhere last year
as well, but
we missed the lower tier, so we had to go upper last year just out of force. It's good up there. I'm saying had to go, like it's a bad thing to be the upper tier, but this year we're like, we'll go in the same block as last year. I think it's 5:30 or something like that. And the shirt I wore last year was for no particular reason other than I just plucked out the wardrobe one day. I thought, yeah, all right, was the Cowles one.
Oh right.
Hummel, is it? I think.
Yeah. What year is that?
2002, 2005, 6. I think. It was. I think
a bit of a kind of nothing.
I think it was the shirt.
You weren't even born.
05.
I
was 10, mate.
Oh, sorry.
I think it was the shirt for my first season. I think.
You didn't want to fit into that. You were 10.
No, it's not the actual one.
Now.
Come on. It's a one I bought off eBay from the season that I first started having some kind of interest. I don't think my first ticket, but the first year that I started watching Villa a bit was 05, I think.
If you're wearing the shirt from when you were 10, I'm going to wear the Dungarees from when I was 3 when we won the European.
I also wore the Luke Roper Stadium jacket last year to Wembley.
Nice.
which is very nice. I want to wear that again, but I've also got the Kappa retro jacket
don't
this year.
mention that until we get into sponsors.
I want to wear
shout outs for free.
I want to wear the Kappa one because it's new and I want to wear it. But
No, you can't wear
I wore the
something
Luke Rover
else.
one
You've
last year.
got to
So
wear
I've got to wear the
what you
same,
wore
haven't I?
last season, yeah.
I'm trying to think, are we in the same pair of trainers even? I want to wear literally the same things I wore last year. Just in
Don't
case.
taint the memory of last year and get battered 9-0.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, pessimistic
I know,
over there.
That'll taint that shirt forever, won't it, if we lose? It'll be like, the lucky shirts, no more. I don't really believe in anything like that. We've talked about this before, haven't we? Superstition stuff. I don't really believe in it, but we've got the same block at Wembley, so I feel like wearing the same thing is I've got to go all in now. Go for the same place.
What's your pre-match routine going to be?
Well, my pre-match is going to be a little bit different to last year because there's the tube lines are a bit messed up on
that's good
Sunday. There's a bit of a stoppage, so we're going into Harrow on the Hill.
Beaconsfield. It's just come to me. That's where
we will have a meal and a few drinks in Harrow on the Hill about lunchtime-ish, and then we'll head off to Wembley, I imagine, 2:30.
Sounds very civilised, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Having a lovely dinner. I don't know what we'll do. Just have a overrated, expensive burger somewhere.
To catch the coach down.
Great podcast material, this, isn't it?
It is actually.
Just planning our
So what do
Sunday
you think? If you could tweet us and let me know, coach or drive, please.
now. Okay.
Thank you.
Lovely scenes when you get no tweets. Somebody's not made it this far.
Yeah, you need to let me know probably before Sunday morning, because otherwise it's going to be drive.
All right. Shall we wrap it?
Yes, let's do it.
Before we go, we'll be doing a little bit of again admin for the viewers of what we've got this week. There's a Rob Bishop, Tony Daly, and Ron Atkinson Clang podcast coming.
Busy man, Dan.
At some point. That's going to be meshed together, all their stories of the 90s. This podcast is obviously already out because if they're listening to this, they already know. So this is out today. Friday, us two. You won't be here. Sorry. We're doing another bonus podcast with Ash and maybe James Rushton after the presser. So to talk about all the latest injury news, what 11 we go with, all that kind of stuff. A specific Villa versus Man City podcast on Friday afternoon. And then Sunday, I'll be roaming around with a camera at some point. So if you see me, say hello. Please, don't leave me alone.
Yes, and what I was going to say, we'll hopefully promote this as well, but we really want you to kind of share bits of images and videos and stuff like that, so we'll be providing a WhatsApp number for you.
Or email address if you prefer.
Yeah, or email address, so you can send us bits and pieces of the day.
Exciting.
Send us your photos, send us your videos. If you do videos, film them landscape, please. Don't film portrait, or I won't use it, and it'll break my heart a little bit. Yeah, so send us your stuff, get involved, send us your tweets with what you're up to on Sunday. Get your predictions in, and we'll maybe read some out on Friday. I don't know what day it is.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Should we wrap it?
Yeah, all good.
Thank you very much, Adam, for coming in and bringing all your stuff.
Enjoyed it.
It would have been a much harder podcast to do without all that there.
And if we win 6-0 on Sunday, we'll have you back in.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it.
Or 1-0.
Oh, yeah.
Or even if we lose.
It's got to be a specific 6-0 victory for Adam to come back for some reason.
Never going to happen, is it?
No, definitely not. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you've watched this rather than listened, otherwise all the memorabilia will be lost on you where we're talking about things that you can't even see. So yeah, head over to YouTube or maybe on Twitter, we'll put some stuff out as well. Yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Friday.
Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue and Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do let us know. We love hearing your thoughts and comments. We'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, up the Villa.